Good evening. It's 7 o'clock and we have a special meeting of the Urbana City Council, which will be followed by the normal regular meeting of the Committee of the Whole. I'd like to call the special meeting of the Urbana City Council to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Here, the last time I'll probably be called first.
Mr. Jacobson?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Ms. Marlin?
Here.
Mr. Roberts? Mr. Smythe? Here. Mayor Pressing?
Here. The first item of business is petitions and communications, and I have two people that wish to address the City Council. Esther Pat, followed by Jenny Putman.
Thank you. I'll just take a moment. I'm Esther Pat, 706 South Kohler Avenue, and I just want to speak in favor of the appointment of Aaron Ammons to the City Council. I've known Aaron for 6 or 7 years, and I've worked with him. He's smart, he's hardworking, very dedicated, and serious about a lot of things. And what I think is especially most important is he's very involved in his community in the Third Ward. He knows a lot of people, and a lot of people know him. And I think the most important thing for City Council members is to represent the people and the concerns of the people who are their constituents, and I think that Aaron would do an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenny Putman.
I just probably needn't say this matter of public safety. It's very slippery outside, and it might be necessary to resalt the ramps and stuff before. Okay, great. I reside at 402 West Delaware Avenue in Urbana, and I'd like to reflect with you on my experience as a colleague and partner of Aaron Ammons. Aaron served with me. I served with Aaron, the chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee on Jury Selection, for about 3 years. Aaron was the chair of this Citizens Advisory Committee appointed by the chair of the county board. But the first time I met Aaron was a couple of years earlier. It was about 2006. Aaron came to a caucus of county board Democrats. This is separate from the Champaign County Board. This was a meeting of just the Democrats on the county board. Aaron was seeking our support in approaching the sheriff to find an alternative to proceeds from inmate telephones to support inmate services. And Aaron wanted the support of the Democrats on the county board in this effort. He didn't know that when you come to a meeting, if you want to speak during public participation, you sign in. He didn't know where on the agenda this was supposed to happen. I'm sorry that some of my Democratic colleagues didn't welcome him and treat him appropriately, but we got over that. Aaron spoke during public participation. We acted together. The county abandoned the use of funds from when inmates call their families to support inmate services. And I think that this experience of not exactly knowing how to handle the public during a meeting was a strong influence on Aaron as he grew into the leadership of the Advisory Committee on Jury Service, where he was a person of gentleness and welcome to every person who came to address us, where he managed minutes, respect for the Open Meetings Act, making sure that our meeting rooms were properly noticed, that minutes were prepared and approved and posted on the county's website, and grew into a person who had excellent meeting skills. I have the scrapbook from our work together over the 3 years, and you'll see pictures of Aaron dressed in a suit and tie and speaking before the League of Women Voters, giving the annual report of the Citizens Advisory Committee on Jury Service. The Committee on Jury Service met on Fridays after work. Fridays at 5:30. How about that for a group of people led by Aaron Ammons who knew how to get things done on a Friday? And I think maybe we met on Fridays because Aaron had a date on Saturday morning. One of the things that we did in the Advisory Committee on Jury Service was Aaron on Saturday mornings led a discussion talk show on radio station WBCP. And he had to be at the radio station for the 9 o'clock broadcast on Saturday mornings. Aaron is disciplined. He meets deadlines. He followed through on the work of the Citizens Advisory Committee on Jury Service. We got a piece of legislation
You have
passed.
1 minute, Ms. Putman.
All right, I couldn't be more pleased than that Aaron wants to bring his skills to the people of Ward 3 and to the city. And I left at your place a statement that was written about Aaron by the McKinley Foundation when they awarded him a Social Justice Award in 2012. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he's a published author. He has a book of poems.
Okay. Okay, I have one other person who would like to speak in favor, and that is State Representative Carol Ammons. She gonna do this too? She wants to do.
Good evening, Urbana City Council. What a privilege to sit on this side of the seat and see you all once again face to face. I was going to do the presentation that Jenny Putnam did, but since she took care of all of that, I'll do something just simple and personal. Many people in this community have known Aaron and know of Aaron, and I thought about this, that the easiest appointment is to appoint Aaron Ammons. Why is this the easiest appointment? Because if the election was held tomorrow, there's no question that we've walked Ward 3 100 times. For school board, for county board, for city council, for state rep. He knows and is the precinct committeeman for that ward. And so it's quite difficult to even say that I would waste any of your time getting right down to the business of appointing him, because we already know he's not only well qualified, but the community has deemed him that, of which you see here witnessed tonight, and you've seen certainly over this time, this is not the first time you've met him, to allow for any sidebar that would attempt to deride a person whose life has been nothing but the mirror of second chances would be utterly disappointing. So for me, it's a very easy decision. Of course, it's not mine, it's yours. And I just come in support of a hard-working individual that I happen to be married to, that I happen to be proud of, that I certainly am not embarrassed one day for the work that he's done. And what we do need in Ward 3 is someone who will be able to bring something solid to the table, but also challenge the status quo. You don't want to have a person representing poor people largely, and people working very low-wage jobs, in many cases, elderly and retired people who don't have a lot of resources, who cannot relate to that life. And so I encourage and thank the mayor for standing tall as she continues to face some of the most difficult challenges of her administration, but she stands tall, and I encourage and thank her for accepting and appointing Aaron Ammons this evening, or bringing that to the council for the vote. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Carol. Carol, before you sit down, I do have something to present you. Since you left so quickly, we didn't have a chance to say goodbye. So let me give it to you. You'll never guess what it is.
Oh, Mr. Bill Gray.
So this is something that's a surprise, so you can open it up and show us what it is.
It's like Christmas. Never fear, we will recycle the paper. This is the front or back. Here, all this is. And of course. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. Gray, for making this for us. I remember coming down to you when I first got on council.
Okay. Patricia Avery.
Good evening. I've been given a hard time by your city clerk. I have the white card here. Carol is actually a tough act to follow, but since I have to follow her, I want to start out by thanking her for her service on this council. She has did a yeoman's job, and I am just excited that she is now our state rep. When she was sitting on council, she did not represent me because I live in Champaign, but now that she is going to Springfield, she will be my state rep, and I am just looking so forward to working with her. So thank you, Carol, for your service. Now I can transition to another Ammons, Aaron Ammons. I want to just talk a little bit about the work that I've had the pleasure of dealing with Aaron. He and I served on with Jennifer Putman, and she did a wonderful job outlining the work that he did on the jury service selection committee. To be honest, they actually wanted me to chair that committee. And I said, no, I'm going to nominate Aaron because I thought that he would be a wonderful chair, and he did not prove me wrong. He led that committee through a lot of ups and lots of downs, just getting our footing on that committee. And he worked very hard. In his leadership, he proved that he was the man for the job. I looked at the work that Aaron has been doing in the community regarding social justice, and I've watched him over the years as he has developed, as he has worked really hard to organize the community around these very tough issues that some people would run away from, but he ran into the fire. And for me, I think that that says a lot about someone's character. Not often in America do you have a someone who has challenges in his, like Aaron has in his life, that we're able to give him a second chance. This is an opportunity for him to show an example for people who think that their life is over. That we hear about second chance laws, but truly, there are very few people that get this opportunity. So I would really strongly support Aaron sitting in that seat that's vacant by his wife, because I think he is truly deserving of it, and I don't think he will be disappointed. I think he will represent the people in Ward 3 very well, like his wife did. So I thought he was so worthy of the recognition and the work that he's done that the NAACP actually gave him the President's Award this last year. So I'm hoping that he is sitting in that seat, and I will reserve the rest of my time for the second time I get up and speak, even though our city clerk says one time only. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Do we have anyone else who wants to speak for this meeting? Okay, we will move on. New business. First, we have ordinance number 2015-01-011, an ordinance revising the annual budget ordinance, and this is for a redevelopment agreement with Cake Design Development.
Good evening.
We have Brandon Boyes to explain this to us.
So this ordinance is a technical correction to the 14-15 budget. We would have brought it to you at the time at your last meeting when you approved the 204 West Main redevelopment agreement, first amended and restated. Essentially all this does is it recreates the same budget amendment that was approved originally for the fiscal year 13-14 budget in the 14-15 budget. So it's no change in the anticipated fiscal impact of that redevelopment agreement.
Okay, Charlie?
Move approval.
Second.
Any other discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson?
Yes.
Mr. Madigan?
Yes.
Ms. Marlin?
Yes.
Mr. Smythe?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next, an appointment, Aaron Ammons for the council seat for Ward 3.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
There's discussion over here.
Oh, sorry, Bill. I didn't see you. You're too close to me.
Yeah, I'll add on to the jury selection committee since I was on that too, and talk a little bit more about that. One thing that I really appreciated from Aaron chairing that committee is his respect for all the other people on the committee. It was a diverse committee to begin with. There's Judge DeFanis was on it, Public Defender Randy Rosenbaum, some administrative types, Roger Holland and me, and a lot of people with various backgrounds. And I think that's one of the things we actually discovered in our process of going through all the things that affect jury makeup and how they make decisions. We came across research, actually, Steve Beckett directed us to research on what produces good decisions in groups, whether it's a jury or a council or other commission or a board. And the reason the diversity of the group matters is because you make assumptions if you don't have that diversity about other people's experiences, and you don't discuss things enough. So that's one of the things we discovered through the research, and I think that's one of the reasons you'll be a really good influence and addition. So I really look forward to continuing to learn from you, and I hope you can learn from us.
Anyone else? Mike?
So all I really wanted to say was, while I don't know you, you've been here and presented yourself very well many times. I think a lot of your wife. And while I don't know you, you obviously have the support of your ward and a lot of other folks. So this makes sense in that regard. My only issue with all of this is, I suppose, probably the sidebar issue, and I have a bit of a personal, well, I don't have a direct personal interaction, but this affects me personally because I have two friends who have struggled for years to get the attention of a governor, and have been unsuccessful. And they have done everything right in their lives. They have been very active in their communities, very active in business and in organizations, and it's while this is nothing to do with you, I just take great exception to the former governor taking this action in one regard and leaving a lot of other folks still fighting the fight. But I will support you.
Eric?
I actually shared the concern that Mr. Madigan does. But I think this is outweighed by the entire thrust of Aaron's life, where he has really fought for people who don't have access, who don't have privilege, and I am very, very confident, Aaron, that you are not the kind of person who, having gotten a hand up in this particular procedure, I'm quite certain that you're not going to pull the ladder up behind you, but that you will build that ladder for others. And so I also would like to welcome you.
And I will say that I think we can encourage the governors to act on these more quickly and not just put them off until the last minute. And I've told Mike Madigan that I will go to Springfield with him. And I'm sure that Carol Ammons will be very receptive, and we have many other legislators too. So, is there anyone else? Would the clerk please call the, no, we just do it by voice vote, right? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Well, it's unanimous. And you can't just sit there. You gotta get sworn in.
Make it official here.
He's got to get sworn in so we can put him to work.
I, Aaron Ammons,
Having been appointed to the office of City Councilman, Ward 3,
having been appointed to the
office
office of City Council Ward 3
in the city of Urbana,
in the city of Urbana,
in the county of Champaign,
in the county of Champaign,
Illinois aforesaid,
Illinois aforesaid,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of City Councilman,
of the office of City Councilman,
Ward 3,
Ward 3,
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Okay. Would you like to sign your name here, and I'll sign below that, and then the clerk will sign it?
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so then I give it to you. So there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned, but stay tuned, folks, we have another meeting. Thank you all.